Chapter 10 of Angel Food Time, Little Talks to Little Folks by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 10 A Pair of Slippers. A long time ago I told you a story about the great and mighty Chief Ali Pash, who lived far away in Arabia. This morning I want to tell you another story about the same Chief Ali Pash. I hope you will like it. It seems that one day the great Chief Ali Pash went for a walk in the beautiful garden of his palace. And what do you think happened? Chief Ali Pash stubbed his toe and fell. Now, it's a terrible thing when anyone stubs his toe and falls, and it's even worse when it happens to a great person like Chief Ali Pash. Of course, that fall hurt the great chief, and he flew into a rage. Then and there Chief Ali Pash decided that he would never again stub his toe and fall. I suppose you are wondering just what Chief Ali Pash did. Well, the chief called together all of his soldiers and servants and ordered them to lay a carpet over all the paths in his garden and over all the walks of his country. In that way the great chief felt that, wherever he would walk, he would always walk on a carpet, and he would never again stub his toe and fall. When the soldiers and servants heard the order of the great chief, they shook their heads. They knew that they couldn't lay carpet over the whole country. Some of the soldiers and servants even dared to tell the chief that they couldn't carry out his order. They couldn't lay carpet over all the walks and paths of the country. They told the chief that he couldn't always walk on a carpet, and that he would just have to be careful. Of course, those soldiers and servants were punished. They were thrown into prison. Chief Ali Pash waited and waited. He waited several days, and nothing was done. Wasn't there someone who could lay carpet over all the walks and paths of the country? Finally, the great chief offered a reward. Chief Ali Pash promised to give a bag of gold to the person who would help him so that, wherever he walked, he will always walk on a carpet. Several weeks passed. Then one day a stranger appeared at the gates of the castle of the great Chief Ali Pash. The stranger wanted to see the chief. The stranger had good news for Chief Ali Pash. "I have come to get your reward," said the stranger as he stood before the great chief. "I have come for the bag of gold. I have found how, wherever you walk, you can always walk on a carpet." Chief Ali Pash looked at the stranger with surprise. "This is good news," said the great chief. "If you show me how I can always walk on carpet, you shall have the bag of gold. If you fail, you shall spend the rest of your days in prison." The stranger smiled. The stranger knew that he couldn't fail. He knew that he would win the bag of gold. And do you know what the stranger did? The stranger opened his cloak and took out a pair of slippers. Now, those slippers were not ordinary slippers. Oh, no! Those slippers were made of carpet, and they were lined with soft wool. Then the stranger knelt down and put the carpet slippers on the feet of the great Chief Ali Pash. Chief Ali Pash walked a few steps, smiled, and nodded his head. "You have won my reward," he said to the stranger. "You have won the bag of gold." And forever after, the great Chief Ali Pash was happy. No matter where he walked, he always wore his slippers made of carpet. And so the chief always walked on carpet. It was all very simple, wasn't it? Would you like to walk through life with a happy heart? Would you like to walk through life without worries, without being afraid? I'm sure you would, children, and it's very easy. Now, I'm not going to tell you to walk through life wearing a pair of carpet slippers. No, there's something better than carpet slippers. If you want to walk through life without worries and with a happy heart, keep your soul in the state of grace. Who are the people who are not happy? Who are the people who are afraid? People who have mortal sins on their souls. You can't be happy without God, and, if there is mortal sin on your soul, God is not there. People who have mortal sins on their souls are afraid because they have lost God. They know that, if they die with mortal sins, they will lose their souls and they will lose God forever. No wonder they are afraid. Children, if you should ever make the mistake of falling into mortal sin, go to confession as soon as you can. Get that mortal sin off your soul and bring God back into your soul. Don't take any chances. God wants to live in your soul at all times, and He will live there if your soul is in the state of grace. Boys and girls, do you want to be happy in this world? Do you want to be happy with God in heaven? Then, keep your soul in the state of grace. The state of grace will take you to God with a happy heart. God bless you, and take good care of yourself. End of chapter 10.